Hello everyone and welcome to the Championship Sunday final round coverage of the Black Bear Amateur Championships driven by Innova Champion Disc and presented by the Southern Ohio Disc Golf Association. My name's Christian and today I'm finally joined by my commentary partner, Evan Allison.
Hey.
Alright, we're going to be bringing you guys through the Black Bear Championship course. This is a special 21-hole layout that is set up specifically just for the tournament.
I absolutely love the 3 extra holes on this course. It really gives new life to it after playing the original 18 all year.
Yes. A couple little temporary holes will get thrown in there, but we will explore those more whenever we get to them. Let's take a look at who we're going to be following for our lead card coverage as they try to chase down the win. First up, we're going to have Jackson Kemper coming in at a 967 rating, and he's going to be starting off the round with the hot score of 3 under par. And he's going to be closely chased by Connor Scott, coming in at a -2 after round 1. So he's only 1 stroke off. Rounding out third, we're going to have Cheesebrew. He's going to be coming in at even par, and he's going to be trying to get a couple of those strokes back.
And last on the card today is going to be Evan Jarvis. He's at 3 over, and wow, what a putt.
Yeah, we'll little spoiler for what we might see later. But let's hop right into hole number 1. Hole 1 is a 344-foot par 3, coming in slightly under par for the average, and this is just a good mild way to kick off your tournament. However, don't get lulled into a false sense of security here, because this is about the most open you're going to see this course until you get back off the hill on hole 18.
Live on T-Pad 1, this is your lead card for the Black Bear Amateur Championships, driven by Innova Champion Discs and presented by the Southern Ohio Disc Golf Association. This is the MA1 lead card, teeing off at 12 o'clock. Leading the MA1 division, sponsored by Bang & Chang Discs, at 3 under par, Jackson Kemper. Woo!
Alright, so we've got Jackson stepping up on the tee here. I don't really remember what he throws here. I do know it's a pretty high-speed driver, but it just looks like a stock hyzer shot. Bringing it back in, he's going to nestle that up real close.
Next on the tee, at 2 under par, in second place, Connor Scott.
I know this hole can get really tricky with the wind. It funnels right down through that valley, and it's either a headwind or a tailwind here. There's no crosswinds at all.
Yeah, 90% of the time it's going to be funneling straight down as a headwind. And that's going to be an indication of what we're going to see from Connor pretty well the entire time. He's not going to throw any backhands.
Good bingo. Yeah.
Setting in third place at even par, next on the tee, Cheesebrew.
I think this is a Grace that he's throwing. But he's taking that same line that Jackson did, just that stock hyzer. But I think he released his a little early because it's going to fade out short and left. We'll have
And
a look,
rounding
but it's going to
out
be
our
long.
MA1 lead card, fourth place at 3 over par, Evan Jarvis.
It's definitely overstable.
Taking that a little more low
Best
line
of luck,
back look at it. As you see and hear the car going out there, give a quick shout out to Alston Scott for holding up traffic while we were getting our lead card teed off. Unfortunately, a little low for that Circle's Edge bid there by Rod.
Basket's not being very friendly this morning.
No, it's certainly not. It's seems to be a miss that we see from a couple of these guys. They're kind of that low right into the front of the cage. Let's see if they can kind of get that up and across the top a little more as we go. This course isn't very forgiving, as we watch a couple guys who are just parked right there. This course isn't really that forgiving, so you're gonna have to capitalize on those putts wherever you can, because the course will take them from you.
Yeah, this hole in particular, hole 2, 205 feet, doesn't seem like much, but man, is it sneaky. You approach this one with a with kind of a hyzer that's going to flatten at the top and just drift out, and hopefully you have a putt from the bottom of the hill going up. But anything that's going to land around the basket's really going to roll down the hill.
Yeah, this is going to be a common theme that you're going to see on this course, is baskets on some pretty pitched and sloped hillsides. Jackson leaving his a little wide right. He's going to get caught up in a little bit of the canopy and fall short. However, he's still going to have a longer look at that. Connor looking like he's going to go with the forehand turnover. And like I said, you're not going to see many backhands. You might, aside from some putts, you're maybe going to see 2 or 3 for the entire round. He is very forehand dominant. I was a little out of breath after walking up the bank.
There are a few steep traverses during this course for sure.
Absolutely there is, and we are just getting started with it as Rod kind of keeps his a little low and straight. He's also going to have a really long look there. Very smooth form by Evan there.
Looks kind of like everyone is kind of taking that right around the corner route.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised. That's now through 2 rounds that we haven't seen anyone cut straight at the basket to the left. There is a gap over there that will feed you straight to it. It is pretty hard to hit, but it's definitely there if you can manage to traverse it. And it'll feed you right to the basket, but looks like our entire card taking the traditional route as Evan just pitches the scuba up there. He is perfectly content taking his par. Ooh.
That's a mistake you see a lot of people make here.
Yeah, sailing that over the basket.
The downhill just kind of seems to pull the disc.
Sneaks that in though. There we go. Alright, and we've seen everyone on our card now cleaning up their pars. There were no birdies on the day for this hole. It came in at a perfect 3.0 average. No birdies, no bogeys, all pars. So I'd say there were probably quite a few birdie looks, just no one able to convert. Let's move right on into hole 3. 469-foot par 4. This is the first of 2 par 4s back-to-back and the first of a handful throughout the course. You'll mainly want to try to just go straight and then start fading back to the right with either a forehand or that slight turning backhand. If you can work your way up the fairway more, then definitely distance is premium. But just trying to get up about halfway and then get over to the right is going to give you the biggest window to approach the basket. It seems that's what Jackson's trying, and he's going to get the good fortunate kick to get back to the right hand side. Anything that kicks left is almost immediate bogey territory.
It's not OB, it's just unfortunate.
It might as well be OB. Connor executing perfectly that shot right there.
There is a sneaky backhand line, but it's pretty tight on that right side. You have to throw something almost dead straight for about 250 feet.
Oh, an unfortunate kick, but insane fade back. He works his way, you'll see it in a second, he works his way all the way back to the edge of the fairway, and he moved a good amount up there.
He was trying to go the sneaky route.
Yep. And that is a very demanding shot to hit. Evan, not a big forehand player. I'm not sure if he was aimed up that way and was counting on more flip, or he early released it. I'm not sure. Either way, it pushed dead straight, and Jackson,
Dude.
buddy, great shot.
This is a great landing zone. Your forehand gets you over on this right side, gives you more airspace to get to the basket.
Yep. Unfortunately, it looks like he just torqued over on that out of the hand. But yeah, Evan, that's great point. That is exactly where you want to be. It's going to give you the best window to work a forehand approach back through the left-hand gap. And you see there where Rod ended up. It's very rare, but it does happen sometimes, that you'll work through all that brush on the left and get back to the fairway. And he was gifted one from the course there. And looks like he's taken full advantage of it. Got it real close.
Evan not quite as fortunate.
Looks like that little Berg forehand was going to work out really well. Unfortunately, caught one of those last bunker trees. And he's just going to lay up there. Hopefully take his bogey. Connor trying to give it the run.
Yeah, those rocks at the bottom of this basket can be really sneaky too, because I've had them both stop me dead or drop me to the left over the hill, and I'm down on 16's fairway.
Oh yeah, they can either really help or really hurt you. So this is gonna be for Jackson's birdie. Little high in the chains, but that stays in. Knocks that down. He's 2 through 3 right now. He's got the dream start going again. Very reminiscent of round 1 here. He's got some cleanups, and we will move on over to hole 4.
As we move through hole 4 here, this is the 4th hardest hole on the course for the tournament, averaging 4.7. There's actually only one birdie on our card for the day. This has a really tricky drive off the start. You've got to avoid a handrail and a couple guardian trees before you even get across the creek. Nice flex forehand, something that's going to stay pretty flat and not fade out too far. Second shot, if you're fortunate enough to get up the fairway, you can make a bid on the basket with your second shot. But right in here in this landing zone, and then pitch up for your par is how it normally works out.
I think you missed a couple tree hits for how it normally works out. But Jackson going with the backhand off the tee, and that is a very demanding tee shot. You've got to get something that's going to flip up and stay just dead pin straight. He faded out a little bit, but I do believe he's going to be held up by that rock wall over on the left. So he'll have a more interesting look at the pin.
That's what you were talking about, the trees that you
Yeah,
hit
that's
early.
one of those tree hits that typically happens on this hole. And he's going to get shot way down to the left. It didn't hit anything else after it hit that tree.
You can see right there, they're throwing over top of that stairwell that goes down into the creek. That railing has quite a few ding marks in it.
Yeah, I think I'm responsible for at least 4 of them. Probably plus 8 after those 4. But anyway, let's not talk about that. Let's talk about that drive that Connor just put out there. It was a beauty. Evan dropping the glasses. Unfortunately, wasn't able to catch him, but he does get kicked down left a little bit. And you see Rod. Rod is way down there. Nearly makes it all the way back out. He's still going to be about 15 feet down off the fairway. Evan very lucky to get caught up after that initial tree hit. And he's going to lay a beauty of a little forehand turnover shot. I said he's not a huge forehand player.
No.
Oh. Rod trying to get out and still fighting to find the fairway. There we go.
There's that landing zone I was talking about for most people that are shooting this hole for par.
Yeah. Very smooth backhand by Jackson there. And he's going to be down toward the bottom of the stairwell, or that little stone staircase that goes up to the basket, but he's going to have another birdie look. seems like... Does it seem to me like Connor's forehands are just coming out a little late? Like he's holding on to them just a little bit too long.
That's an excellent approach shot. This hill is another one of those greens that just one false landing, and you're going to roll back down to about 40 feet.
Yeah, I think this is actually the steepest pitched green on the course. I definitely think so. This is up there with like hole 2 and hole 16, but I think this one takes the cake.
All three of those so far are fortunate to stick.
Yeah. Got a long, this is a little outside circle, I'd say probably, what, 40 feet? Playing like 45 up the hill. Jackson Kemper knocking down another big putt. And that's going to be the only birdie of the day on a hole that was the 4th hardest hole. It did play about a quarter stroke easier than it did day 1, but still averaging 3/4 over par. Take a birdie there and you are easily taking multiple strokes on the field. If he keeps playing like that, I don't think anyone's catching him.
Now the long traverse to the easiest hole on the course.
Yeah, 4th hardest to the number 1 easiest hole on the course, hole 5. This is 171 feet. This is typically in the long placement, however, for the tournament. It did get moved over to the short. You're going to want something that's just going to play dead straight. And this tree that's leaning to the right in the middle of the frame right now, if you land right there with a putter, mid-range, something like that, the anti-skip is going to funnel you straight down to the basket. There's a big log right there that will catch you after you get funneled down. There is kind of an ace run play, but if you miss it, you're going to go super long. Forehand's also a viable option here. Looks like Jackson held on to that just a touch and got really lucky to make it through everything.
This hole actually plays a little different than last year too, because there used to be about a 3-foot tall stump right there at the bottom of the frame that got removed by the grounds crew.
Yeah, that was the bane of our tournament director's existence, was that stump, and I think he prayed to the correct entity because it wasn't there very long after he hit it about the 4th time in a row.
It was marked for destruction.
I don't want to gloss over Evan just absolutely piping straight up the little backdoor gap. He was taking the ace run play and kind of hit the little 50-50 grind on the log, and that's the play that I was talking about from Rod. Just throwing a putter, it's landing right by that tree, gets funneled down, he's in the bullseye. I'm going to go ahead and tap out while Jackson was looking at his putt. He's circle's edge up on the very top. Taking his time, conviction putting that one in there.
Well, he was putting from the long position where the basket usually is.
Yeah, that is correct. He would have been parked under the long, which is, like I said, where this basket normally hangs out. But it was time for a little bit of a switch up, and I figured having a so we watch a couple more cleanups here. I figured a little change up would be appreciated by our card, and Evan, that was the first ever CRDG production star frame.
Hey, we
Yeah.
need some kind of little music for that.
Little dingy thing.
Yeah.
I'll work on that in the future.
All right, hole 6. This hole, we really need to have a name for this hole. It really is a beast. Not only are there just 1,000 trees between you and the basket, but there's also 613 feet of space to cover.
Yeah, this is traditionally the hardest hole on the course when you play it just in its normal layout. Anything getting over that ditch that we just flew over in 2 shots is going to at least give you the opportunity to look at birdie. 2 absolutely perfect shots, a killer drive followed by an even more impressive second shot might get you the look for the eagle, but it's incredibly rare, nearly non-existent. Mainly just playing up somewhere about where I am with the catch cam here for your first shot. is going to get you in position to try to shoot over that ditch and across that second hill for your second shot. The first shot's mainly about placement. It's a forehand, so that's Connor. Looking fantastic. That actually might be just a touch too far.
Yeah, you really want to be in the middle of that fairway on that approach and that landing zone right there to give you the best option. You actually have two different options there, forehand or backhand for your approach, but you really want to be in the middle of the fairway after your drive.
Yeah. If you do get kind of tucked a little to the right, it's not as bad if you're not so far down the fairway, but I think Connor actually moved so far down the fairway that he's kind of going to pinch himself off a little bit.
That's a familiar thing to happen right there off of this tee.
Catching something and feeding yourself to the left. So that is a fly-dyed Z zone. Only has about 2 throws on it, and the only reason I know that is because I sold Evan that disc about 45 minutes before he teed off this round. He was looking for a new zone, and I had one just luckily sitting there that he picked up off of me. I hope he treats it a little better throughout the round. There you go.
Really?
That's a little better, but yeah, it looks like he's just a little pinched off there. So
Yeah, that right side definitely makes the approach a little bit more difficult.
Either way, just around it or just in front of that tree, and he's gonna be fine. Jackson forced to the forehand. Whoa! Full flex out of that. Worked away left side of the fairway the whole way up. He's gonna be sitting pretty. He got up there good ways.
Very good shot. Good shot.
Rod with a good shot there. Evan throwing 3, I believe.
This, again, we talked about this earlier. This is another one of those greens that you can get a great approach, but all it takes is for your disc to kick on its edge, and you're 30, 40 feet down the hill.
Not to mention, this is another one of those greens that slopes down and away in the same direction that a traditional approach shot's going to be moving. That right to left movement, and it slopes back as it goes. That's child's play, Jackson. He made this hole look so simple. I promise you this hole is not as simple as he just made it look. He just went straight backhand, flex forehand to a chip shot up onto the green, and he parked it. Rod giving it a good little look there. Yeah,
This is a dangerous putt from this upper side here.
very much so. Oh. You gotta at least catch some metal on those if you are going for it, because it will float a long way down. Like I said, Jackson with the park chop there for yet another birdie. Good comeback hit.
If you're gonna be fighting out for season,
So this hole again played about a quarter stroke easier than it did round one, but still averaging about a half stroke over par. With Mr. Kemper picking up the only birdie on the field.
It's a short little step over to hole 7. I absolutely love this hole. It is a beautiful tunnel shot. Whatever you can throw dead straight, this is the time to bring it out.
Yeah, hole comes in at 288. As long as you get something moving, just arrow straight without having to bring a lot of height into play for 200 feet, that's whenever the fairway starts sloping down, so that can kind of help carry you through the remainder of the hole. As long as you have something that's going to go dead straight for at least 200 feet, you should be fine. Big danger is anything fading out early or kicking left over the road is... Okay, that hangs on. But that was in some serious danger of going to OB. Connor here taking the forehand. I would have never thought of forehand on this hole.
I don't trust my my understable discs on a forehand to straighten out like that.
Yeah, he knows and trusts those discs in his bag so much. Here's Evan getting that 200 foot, letting the little downhill carry him forward. He's going to be right about circle's edge. Catching some cabbage. Inside circle. So, our leader being the only one not...
Are you serious? He just explained why he's the leader.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say he's the only one not in the circle off the tee. But I didn't want to spoil anything else, so I just quit talking.
Wow.
Yeah,
I just tried that shot 2 days ago, and it didn't work for me at all.
No. I do believe that's either his friend or his brother who just walked over asking if he hit it with the blowfly, which leads me to believe that he's done that before. And yeah, that was his blowfly. Just a case of getting big putted right there, and that's terrible, but oof.
You know, we have some stats sitting in front of us, and, you know, it shows the fact that Jackson, Connor, and Rod all got birdies on this hole. But it doesn't explain the miracle Anheuser drop that Jackson got there.
Yeah, that was truly just amazing. And being on camera for this, it was great having it on film. While I was running camera here, it just got silent. No one said anything. It was fantastic. But let's move on over to hole 8, 289 par 3. This is going to be the 5th hardest hole on the course, playing over half a stroke above par. Normally this is a forehand hole, and it's even more exaggerated in this new pin placement down here to the right. There is a small sign wall that could stop you from potentially skipping or rolling OB. However, it's going to take a really, really good shot to get all the way down to the basket. Big forehand skip shot, or even this, the forehand cut roller can work. He tried this round 1 and just flipped it over and went 2 straight. But looks like he got the angle corrected on that one.
That's the traditional route for this hole, is forehand around that left side, chip up, and putt for 3.
Yep. And this is one of those holes that, whenever it was being designed and put in, was made to be a true championship caliber hole. Unfortunate kick there. Unfortunately, that backhand play is just 9.5 times out of 10. You're not putting yourself in a position for birdie. Unless you do... I caught a couple of the low hangers, but he had the very tight gap just perfect.
That's about a 12-inch gap that you have to hit if you're going to throw the backhand.
Because the angle from the tee, from the end of the tee, it's barely bigger than the disc is wide. Rod trying to get up and down. He's still going to leave himself outside the circle for his par bid.
I think this hole is revenge for moving hole 5 to the short position.
I think so. I think so. But that spot right there where Connor is where a lot of your good drives are going to end up. If you hit the correct forehand angle, you can get a little better flare skip to get yourself to about 35 to 40 feet. And that was a lot of the key in designing this hole, was making it aired it just a little long for the par. It's going to have that for bogey comeback, but
Was this where he landed after his roller?
Yep. Yeah, great shot. That's about where the really good drives end up. You might be able to get a little closer with a good forehand skip, but the premium on this hole is going to be your putting. So a great drive is going to get you in a long putt situation. That way your putt can earn you the birdie. So it's a little controversial putting this basket this far to the right, but it's definitely attainable. It has been done before, just not today, as there were no birdies for the field.
And this was the 5th hardest hole for the course, averaging 3.6.
Tap out there, walk up the hill just to walk back down for hole number 9. 473 foot par 4. This also got moved, and it got a good deal harder. So as you watch where the drone is flying now, just to the right, now center of the frame, you see a lot of trees that are down. Those came down last year in a pretty gnarly windstorm. So out of necessity, the pin was moved a little further back. It just became a little too easy to pipe a shot straight down and have routine eagle looks. So in order to maintain it being a true par 4, it did get moved down a little bit.
And boy, did that ever increase the difficulty.
Oh yeah, because this is now the 3rd hardest hole on the course. I'm going to be setting up catch cam over here by up on the corner. And Jackson's going hunting. He got a little more aggressive than he did day 1. Unfortunately, just didn't fade quite in time. So anything that's going to get over to the corner and then start fading down to the right, dumpy forehand will really work here. If you're playing for par, placement is premium off the tee. If you are trying for the birdie, you're going to want to go the inside gap to the right, well, your left right here, to try to cut the corner off a little bit more. Looking like our card having a little bit of trouble just getting to the corner.
There's actually a little hump right off of the tee also that gives people trouble because it forces you to throw a little higher than you normally would, trying to make that skip around the corner.
It's like another kick off a tree, I think. Let's see what Connor's working with here.
Yeah, this hole definitely opened up a whole lot of airspace when that giant oak tree fell.
Yeah, because it took out about 3 or 4 more when it did come down. So it opened up all of that space to the right that you see.
Everything to the right of that V tree is you can throw a
It
disc
used
through
to
that
be
now.
really, really tight. You would have to go up and around the V tree to make this hole work, and with all that stuff coming out, you can really cut a lot of distance off the corner. So I don't know what he was trying there. I don't know if he was initially trying for the forehand roller to cut down the hill. I don't know if it was just a flex forehand. It came out kind of weird.
That tree was perfect.
Jackson getting a decent bit down the fairway with that big high forehand. So if you've paid attention to the scores, Jackson is currently 9 under par, which is as low as we've seen anyone for the entirety of the tournament on this layout. And he's done it both days by amassing a huge number of birdies through the first 7 or 8 holes. He went... What did he go? He went 6 through 7 today? I believe 6 through 7. We'll take a look at it here in a second when we recap it. And then you try to amass as many birdies as you can through that first opening stretch of 6, 7, 8 holes, and then hold on to those and try not to give them back.
Yeah, at least until you get over to hole 13. It gets a little more forgiving for birdies.
Well, not even so much anymore with that combined.
Oh, I forgot.
Yeah. We are, unfortunately, a little removed from the tournament by the time we're actually getting this coverage out. But yeah, you've got to wait until hole 15 now before you start getting back into some more traditional birdie holes.
Yeah, and with the placement of 15 now, it's actually up the difficulty on that one as well.
The birdies are there. The strokes are there to be taken. But the opportunities to have it kind of thrown back in your face is also there. I think this Evan from way long and outside worms that up. I think that's his Glowberg, I believe. See if Rod can clean this putt up. Good solid putt there. Again, just like hole 8, no birdies on the day for hole 9. Played a little easier than day 1, but still came in 3/4 of a stroke over par. We'll make a short little walk over to hole 10, which is a new temporary hole for the tournament. Why don't you tell us about hole 10, Evan?
I absolutely love hole 10. This new hole for the tournament is 383 feet. Everything road and right is OB. So if you are going for the large hyzer, you are going to be OB the entire time until it comes down to the basket, which is just here past this pine tree between the little picnic area and the pine tree.
No. You can't really see it, don't worry. It's a mini basket sitting there. When I was out flying the drone, I really didn't want to lug a full-size basket out. So that's kind of a place marker. You'll see it again a handful more times during this coverage. But that white road sign down there is about your aim point for the hyzer. And Jackson going Halo Wraith again, I believe. It's what he took round 1 when he absolutely parked it. But this is the danger of this hole and was kind of the reasoning behind the placement of the pin. Is you've got to come in on a very specific, very technical angle and land just perfectly. That way you don't roll back down to mid-circle 2.
I think this one was just thrown in there for the forehand players to be able to land smoothly. Courses are always built around backhand players, so this was a nice touch to add to the field.
If you have a 400-foot forehand, then absolutely. You can go left side of that tree. Most people are going to be taking this shot right here. It's looking good. Unfortunately, catches the branch and stays up in the tree. Good thing, no 2-meter for this tournament, so he's not going to get penalized, but unfortunately didn't get to work up toward the basket like it was heading. Evan also using that sign as an aim point. And he's going to try to knock Rod's disc out of the tree. And unfortunately, he's going to catch the ground and roll to 50 feet.
I threw an understable driver to the left side up the hill, and it slid straight down towards the basket on this hole.
That's definitely a good play. The play to try to match the hillside. If you come in on too much hyzer, it's just going to kick and roll.
As we see evident right here.
Yeah. See on the next couple putts exactly how that. Jackson trying to ring the big birdie, or the big putt there to go birdie and birdie.
No 2-meter.
Yeah. So here they're getting clarification if there was not 2-meter rule. So this is going to take his lie directly underneath and try to make that putt. So the picnic area there, it's not OB, it's not marked off in anything, but if you do land over there, it's going to make putting really difficult, especially with that fence you would have to deal with.
Yeah, putting through a split rail fence is never fun.
You talk like you had to do it.
Several times.
Luckily, we didn't see anyone on our coverage end up over there. It would be a pretty interesting pin placement in the future, though. Kind of back in that little corral.
Possibly a raised basket on top of a picnic table.
Let's not get too carried away. Rod picking up a big birdie there. Let's see if Connor can clean up the par. Pull just a little right. Tickled a chain on the way through. Now he does end up getting that out, though I do recommend not throwing a disc to try to get another disc out of a tree. I've gotten more stuck that way than I've gotten down. Got a couple par and a bogey cleanup here. Jackson, not too thrilled about that. We'll move over into our final hole of this front 11 coverage, hole 11. Coming in right at 200 feet. It's par 3, averaging about a quarter stroke under par. Play here is going to be aiming up through this gap that you see the drone flying, either with a mid-range or a toned-off fairway driver. Anything that you can land at about circle's edge on the low end will get a skip and slide right up the hill to the basket. You just got to be careful not to clip any of these trees because they will send you very far off the fairway.
Yeah, there's quite a few greenbriers there to the left side. Experience talking there again.
Rod unfortunately pulling that a little to the right. He's going to be lucky. He's going to kick mostly straight down. He didn't get shot way off to the right like happens a lot. Jackson playing that slight hyzer through the main gap. And he was ace running it. He got it the whole way to the basket and beyond in the air. He's going to be at about 15 to 18 foot on the top side of the basket. Now, I know I didn't mention it earlier, but this is also one of those baskets that are on some of the steepest pitched slopes on the course.
That right side is so dangerous.
But he's going to work his way most of the way back. He gets himself back to the edge of the fairway and with a look at the basket. I think he's actually around circle's edge. I think maybe just inside.
That's that trust in the forehand again.
Trust on that disc, knowing what it's going to do. It's crazy.
Oh, that was such a clean up shot.
So smooth, getting up there and not trying to do anything not trying to do anything too crazy, knowing he just needs to get up and down, save the par. Currently still sitting at even par, hanging around that third place mark. He's still in striking distance for second place, but not if Connor keeps doing that. He's still kind of in striking distance for second. It looks like the only person really threatening Jackson right now is Connor. So we're taking a look at Evan here, see if he can chip some of those strokes back that he's lost, and he does. He picks up a good one. Now this here might not look like it, but this is a very tricky putt because your feet are on the same level as the chains right now. Unfortunately, not keeping it nose down enough to sneak in right into the
The
band.
camera doesn't give the justification for the angle that
No.
he had to make that putt on.
No, it really doesn't. Like I said, his feet are on level with the chains. So, unfortunate not being able to pick up the birdie there, especially after giving it a good ace run like he did. But, you know, he's going to end up at 5 under par for the round, and I do believe 9 or 8 for the tournament so far.
Yeah, I believe he was 8 under after that par.
Yeah, so. But yeah, he went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 through 7 was what he did. That's an incredible front streak right there, and that's how you set yourself up in position to win tournaments. You got to get the birdies and then just hold on to them. Connor piecing together a good round. Rod and Evan both kind of hanging around that par, couple over par area. If not for that one bad hole by Evan, he'd be sitting really pretty. But there you have it. That is the first 11 holes of this final round here at the Black Bear Amateur Championships. Stick around and catch out the back 10, and we'll be back for more coverage.